Thank you for staying with us. President Bola Tinubu has instructed security agencies, including the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Nigeria Customs Service, Nigeria Police Force, and Nigerian Ports Authority to intensify efforts against individuals possessing stolen vehicles. This move aims to combat cybercriminals and organized crime groups involved in transnational car thefts, ensuring they don't benefit from their illicit activities. The president emphasized that depriving criminals of their illegal proceeds is a potent tool for law enforcement. Recently, the EFCC handed over 53 vehicles and $180,300 to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for 2 Canadian citizens victimized by Nigerian cybercriminals. President Tinubu also expressed concern over transnational organized crime groups exporting stolen vehicles to Nigeria, but commended the EFCC's collaboration with international partners to tackle this issue. He directed agencies to safeguard Nigeria's economic and financial integrity from organized crime infiltration and preserve seized assets for the state, society, and victims. Well, joining us from our Abuja studio is President of the Global Network for Cyber Solution, Segun Olugbile. Good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Right. Now, if the president is saying that we should intensify effort, it means that we already have something going on. There's an effort being made to addressing this issue, but it seems there are still gaps left such that we'll be able to nip this in the bud as quickly as possible, since Nigeria's economic integrity is at stake. From your perspective, what are the gaps in our efforts to addressing these matters?
Okay, thank you very much for having me once again. It has always been my pleasure to be part of this kind of discussion. I also saw that Mr. President directive on what you have just read. Well, it has always been like that the cybercrime issues will continue to be eminent, because we've had a series of reports indicating, a surge in cybercrime. And we've also had series of activities going on under the webs and all that. So it's not really a new thing. And we have always been saying that cybercrime or attack on a particular aspect of the economy or attack on any aspect of, national development, it's just a matter of time. It will happen. But the problem now is that how prepared, how ready are we to quickly, mitigate some of these actions or attacks and all that. So for me, I think Mr. President has done the right thing by issuing, a directive to the law enforcement agencies to tackle cyber criminality, most especially in that regard. Because right now, even cyber security in the car manufacturing industry is actually becoming one of the best practices. And one of the weaknesses of our national cyber security program has always been that we are yet to integrate cyber security across all the sectors. And then, as you can see, we also are yet to strengthen the institutional arrangement around the need for us to address some of these issues. But what really kept on, I keep on worrying. The idea, we don't really have a problem about the ideas. Nigeria has one of the most, how can I put it? We have the cyber policy, the cyber security policy programs are there, and all the initiatives, they are there. But where we usually have a problem is in the commitment to implement some of these things. And that has been the case. So it has always been that cyber criminality or attack or cyber issues, incidences and all that, it will always happen. And it's increasing, really. So I think until the country or the Mr. President take a deliberate effort to issue a national directive so that Nigeria, cyber security program can have a focus and a direction, and then the institutional arrangement around it can be strengthened. So
when you say the president needs to issue a national directive, what's the difference between the statement he made and a national directive that you are talking about right now? That's on the one hand. On the other hand, you said that we have laws, but our commitment to enforcing those laws are the challenge. How so?
Okay. Thank you. Now, the directives, I don't have a problem with the directives. But the issues I have with it is that for how long are we going to be, emphasizing on cyber criminality, arrests, investigation, prosecution? We will continue to do that. But what we are saying is that, because I read the report and I also saw that the special advisor to Mr. President on information strategy and all that talked about one of the best way to curtail the cyber criminality is to ensure that the proceeds for that crime is diverted to whatever. But we keep on saying that one of the best way that we can address cyber criminality, create cyber security industry. Create cyber security industry. Let there be the elevations of the effort to galvanize all the frameworks, all the activity, all the stakeholders and institutional arrangement. Let there be an effective and a process that will strengthen a vibrant cybersecurity industry, where there are incentives, where there are opportunities that could attract private sector, let them come in. For example, if you look at Nigerian universities, I have a report of recent that about 5,000 Nigerian youth are studying cybersecurity. And then I keep on asking questions. Where are they going to be after the graduations? The career line, you find, is good, but there must be a deliberate effort for the country to really, find a means to ensure that we have, a vibrant cybersecurity program. And that cybersecurity program must also, should be able to give us at least an incentives that will enhance private sector to come into play, and then, create a vibrant industry that will engage this youth. The youth are restless. You have vibrant youth in Nigerians. They are smarter than we are, they have smartphones. The thin line between committing crimes and doing something positive on the internet is just a very thin line. With the sufficient motivation, someone can just, because I keep on saying that cybercrime is as well a business. The cost and the motivation for committing crimes, they're always there. Poverty is there, economic situation is there. But if you don't create an enabling environment that will allow private sector to come in, you continue to have issues of cyber threat or criminality and the youth trying to play around it and trying to find a means of livelihood and all that. So
that's right.
It will continue until we... Yeah, go ahead.
Right. If you look at Nigeria is actually, well, we can't isolate Nigeria from the global, the global village, because because if you talk about the global north, China, United Kingdom, France, this world giant, they also face, cybersecurity threats, in different manifestations. In fact, some Nigerians have also been arrested as a result of, perpetrating some of these, crimes and all of that. And Nigeria's reputation as a hotspot for cyber fraud has hurt international trust and foreign investments. So how do you think this president's position in going after cybercrime or cyber criminals would definitely help in addressing the international trust that we've lost over time? And what have we done recently with the a cybersecurity levy, which we talked about, in recent times, of the 0.005%, which is meant to be deducted, through the banking sector, tax, etc., in order to fight security situations in this country?
Well, thank you. Let me re-emphasize that the Nigerian legal system, in fact, Nigeria has cybercrime there. We have always had the cybercrime, and we've always have a kind of approach where law enforcement can always, make use of law to arrest, prosecute, and do whatever. But the question is that for how long are we going to be prosecuting, arresting, some of these billions youth and all that? Though, please do not quote me wrong. We have youth that are restless. We have youth that have, a criminal teenage and all that. So that is that. The number two, the most important thing is commitment to provide a cybersecurity mitigation, solutions. Commitment to drive your cybersecurity program. Like I always been saying that you could have the best of cybersecurity policy. You could have the best of cyber whatever. Now, let me give an example. The ITU Global Cybersecurity Index put Nigeria within the level of a third tier categories. That is, we are far below in the ranking of the countries that that are performing well within the context of cybersecurity. Now, if you compare that with where we are coming from in 2014 and 15, we're actually doing well. We have SAT, we have a sectorial, SAT there, that is computer emergency response. We are able to put down some measures and all that. But over the years, our commitment has been working. Just like the last speaker said, you see, you don't focus on crime to the extent that you neglect the aspect of the security. You neglect the aspect that could have helped you to be able to mitigate and then explore the opportunity presented by the cybercrime issue like that. As it is now, sincerely, Nigeria needs to strengthen its institutional arrangement. Let there be a cybersecurity program that is driven within the segment of the populace. Let there be engagement of the stakeholders. Let there be engagement of the youth. Let there be engagement of research institutions. Let there be engagement of private sector. Let there be an opportunity to innovate. Let there be opportunities to provide incentive for the youth to be challenged. You see, cybersecurity is about bragging and challenges. And who could do the bragging? They are the youth segment. So the idea for me is not usually that we should always be focused on arresting. Yeah, there will always be crime. There will always be threat. If you go to the express, you always find potholes. You always find sometimes even rain. You don't know when the rain will fall. The same thing with threat. But we should really, address our internal vulnerability. What can we do at least to close our window, to ensure the doors are well locked, and to ensure that even the people living inside the house, they have sufficient awareness to know what to do. These are the critical issues that is still to some extent lacking. Until we get to the level where we start prioritizing the commitment toward, having a cybersecurity program that will facilitate some of this investment and incentives for all the stakeholders involved. You always come back to the client. You always, like I said, the law. We have cybercrime law, but the law could not do anything. Within the context of a widespread of poverty, what will law do? Will you continue to arrest all the youth? That was a time where the youth, once the police see the youth as young people carrying laptop, they will be investigated. They will be arrested, investigator. That is what led to the NSAS. So the idea is that let the country begin to work out how they can roll out a cybersecurity programs, cybersecurity measures, and enabling the evolution of cybersecurity.
Give us a sense of
especially domestic cybersecurity industry.
Give us a sense of what these cybersecurity measures and programs should look like, such that it will be attractive to young persons and even everyone who should know how to protect themselves?
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, like I said earlier, one of the major concerns that we have seen that has not really been well focused. See, the ideas about the technical capability, skills are lacking. And the cybersecurity offers opportunity for our youth to engage in skill learning, emerging skill in cybersecurity. And those skills, they are available everywhere. But when those skills are not tapped into, you are going to have restless youth that can always find alternative to engage your youth. Then you also have the idea that has to do with weak institutional governance and accountability process. You see, if you don't, we have a situation where the operation of cybersecurity program is not yet open to the industry, to the community. Let them come in. Let them find their space to see the role that they can play. Though we have seen that effort being tried to address as well. Then you have your cybersecurity program that is security-centric program. That is, it is essential for us to start looking at how do we drive an inclusive cybersecurity program that can cater for the Nigerian peculiarity. That is why we emphasize that let there be a domestic cybersecurity, a conscious effort to build internal process and measure. Then the aspect that has to do with regulatory framework. The question is this: who regulates cybersecurity breaches in Nigeria? Who supervises cybersecurity market in Nigeria? Who regulates cybersecurity practice in Nigeria? So the law is weak in that context. So there has to be a legal, our legal framework has to be strengthened. Nigeria does not have an institution that's responsible for driving, coordinating, and then overseeing the cybersecurity regulatory assurance and all that. Those things are missing. But if you have all these things, naturally the industry will spark up. We should learn from what happened to Nigerian data protection aspect. The moment the law was created, I must give it to the current administrations. The moment the president signed the law, into law, then there was a regulation through the engagement of the private sector. And the private sector came in, they brought in their money, and they started engaging. And today, Nigeria has one of the best, data protection and privacy in Africa. So why are we not moving forward in our own national cybersecurity program? That's because we lack a strong legal framework that could have, assist us to drive cybersecurity assurance and all that.
And that's a fine place to leave the conversation. Segun Olugbile, President of the Global Network for Cyber Solution. Thank you so much for your time on the program.
Thank you.